Hello my friends, I'm Melody, this is Bake a Leg and Let's Dig It. I have a video on my channel from last year about how I do my tomatoes, but if you also saw the multiple hurricanes, they took a beating, but I got so many tomatoes. So, this is going to be a fairly quick video. I don't have the tripod. I was asked how I stake my tomatoes. I'm absolutely using these green heavy duty ones this year, because the bamboo ones, yeah, they can't hold the weight of the tomatoes. It's quite difficult. So with that being said, I'm using these garden stakes that are green from Home Depot. And then what I do is I go around the bottom of my plant and I take off any foliage down below. I left this leaf here just to show you, but in the middle is the sucker, and I pinch the suckers off, or you can use a pair of scissors. This is the little armpit, as I like to call it. This is a branch, and there's your sucker. I pinch them off as I am tying up my plants for the season, which seems weird. I feel like I'm late, but it is what it is with this crazy weather in Pennsylvania. Grow zone 7B. So some of them are a little bit smaller, but that's okay. They're going to get a feeding today because we're supposed to get a rain shower. I'm working on this tomato plant right here. Everything in this bed is either Dr. Winchie's, maybe one or two of my Kellogg's Breakfast, Gold Rush, Better Boys, things of that nature. But this one here looks a little bit wild, and I thought I would just show you how I do it. So you see how this leaf is very close to the dirt, the mulch. I go and I take that one off first, and the little one, it's touching the soil, and this one's obviously going to end up touching the soil. So I take my scissors and I just go in very gently. I will cut that one off. I will take this one off. This is a sucker right here. If you can see this, let me put my finger on it. This is a sucker. There's leaves all in your way. Sorry about that. This is a sucker right here. Remove all your leaves. Don't leave them on your dirt. Then I just go in and I check the armpits and remove any other suckers. And last year I used kitchen twine. This is one I used to make rotisserie chickens a lot in my machine. I don't even think my machine is here yet on the new homestead. So I used the same thing last year, except, you know, the more they took a beating. Anyway, do I see a bean? Squirrel alert. Let me see. Is that not random? Does that not look like a bean? Just laying in my bed. Don't mind my dirty nails. And I don't think that it is. It's a rock from the birds. So anyway, after I remove all the leaves, I just kind of fix the plant a little bit, and then I take a piece of this, I tie it around. I don't put it too tight. Let me show you over here. I still have to take this leaf off right here. But see how I have it tied? I don't have it too tight. I will come back in as the tomato plant grows, and I will tighten it up. Now this one's probably gonna fall because it's a little too loose now, but you can just push it up. And that is how I prune and stake my tomato plants. There's a lot in here. As you can see, I'm a high impact gardener. This is exactly how I did it last year. So each row has, I think, 4 going this way, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 going this way in an 8x4 bed. So the rest, these are all staked. I'm just trying to get into the middle. That's the only awkward part of this, is trying to get into the last row right there. If you can follow my finger where this is at. I'm not going to use these clips this year. Yeah, I have to stake. Well, this one's staked. I have to prune this plant here, but just a few more left to go over there. But that's pretty much how I do it. I use kitchen twine and I give it some give. So can grow with the plant. I remove all the suckers that I possibly can as I'm doing this. You will find your suckers in the armpit of your stem. You don't want the sucker unless you accidentally took off, like, say, like a main branch. You can let a sucker come out, but this one here is starting to get buds. I think I have a few that have some flowering on them. But yeah, it's pretty easy. But if you're a new gardener, plant. Okay, I have a video on YouTube of planting tomatoes. I don't think I brought anybody along this year when I planted my tomatoes. Okay, so this is what I do. The video is on my channel. You can go look in my garden playlist. I dig my hole really big. I drop a whole egg in there. Why, you might ask? Because tomatoes like calcium. Over top, like once I drop the egg in the hole, and I plant mine deeper, so that's why mine are looking a little bit smaller, because I planted them deep. I put a little bit, well, I take my garden shovel and I crack it a few times to help it to start breaking down. And then I put some Epsoma organic fertilizer on the top of the egg, and then I plant my tomato. Sometimes I will plant my tomato straight, and sometimes I will plant my tomato like such, where the root is down, and then I will bend it up. I did that to a lot of these tomato plants. Makes them a little bit stronger, which I need them to be stronger. The winds and the storms we got last season was insane. So, and they survived fairly well last year. They were pushed out of the bed, but none of them actually broke. Also, that's it. I just covered it up at, I put the tomato in there and covered it up, pushed it down. My tomatoes have been in a couple days, I think, before Memorial Weekend, or maybe a week before Memorial Weekend. And today they'll get their first feeding of fish emulsion. It's like a tablespoon to a gallon of water. I want to get that in today. Hopefully, if I get these all tied up, because then we're going to get a rain and it will soak it down into the soil. So that is pretty much how I do my tomatoes, with the egg in the hole, some organic fertilizer. I bury it deep, and now I am just trying to wrap up what I didn't finish yesterday, because I do know there's a storm coming. Now this one here I could tighten. I'll show you. Okay, so since I don't have these on the tripod, I just tightened that up a little bit and found a sucker. If they get too big, your suckers, just use scissors. If you have a diseased plant, make sure you disinfect your scissors. Don't pass it around to all your other plants. So yeah, so that's it. I leave them a little bit looser so that as the plant grows, all I have to do is just come in and tighten up the strings. So that's kind of how I stake my tomatoes, how I plant my tomatoes. Bunch of information all in one video. And I'm glad to go back to these stakes. Because if you know, you know. If you don't, again, you can go back and look. My tomato plants grew at least 12 to 14 inches high. They outgrew my bamboo stakes. They hopefully won't outgrow these. Let me show you very quickly. Cut through. I have my pile of what I'm pruning. So my arch trellis that's right there. Don't mind these. It's going for squash. I had tomatoes that grew up over that, and I had to find a way to pick them. So they'll grow as high as you let them grow. But phenomenal season last year, even with the weather. And I am just more comfortable with using these. Sometimes cheaper isn't better. My roommate suggested the bamboo, and yeah, they just didn't hold up really well for tomato plants. So that's my review on bamboo. Didn't work out for me last year. So, okay, back to tying up. Just tie it, not too tight, because you want your plants to be able to grow. And then if it's too loose, you can just come back and adjust it and tie it a little bit tighter, or just push it up the plant like this, for an example. Remove all your bottom leaves so that when it rains, it doesn't splash up on the lower leaves, and then it'll give it blight too early. And then remember to constantly come in as the season goes along to keep pruning the bottom leaves off right here. So this is the one that I tied up, and now I'm just taking off the sucker, which I have a video on suckers you can go back and watch. So I remember, I'll post a link down below. But yeah, so that is how I do my tomatoes. This is how I stack them. Sorry, didn't mean to say stack them. This is how I single stem my tomatoes. Sorry about that. There was a call coming in and I, had to decline it while I'm doing this video right quick. So, single stem them. That's how I do my tomatoes. The egg in the hole. Bury them down deep. Kitchen twine. Tie them up. Don't choke them. Leave a little give. And then if you have to tighten it up as you go along, you can do that. And remember to prune off your suckers. So that is my video today. We are on the back bed. Well, I am. And just have probably about a half a row left to do. After I do this one, I have well, maybe, let me say, yeah, maybe one row still to do. I have two over here to do and a half a row over there to do. But yeah, they're looking pretty good. And then I usually give my tomato plants a couple weeks in the dirt, and then I give them some fish emulsion. So again, that is what I'm going to do. And then the rain will push it down into the soil. Next tip, do not water your tomato plants from above like that. Water from the root. Prevents a lot of diseases, a lot less blight. I know you can't help it if the rain gets to it, but you personally, when you're watering, either do in the morning or at night, or you will be burning off your plants, literally. So be very careful with that, and always water from the root. That's what I do, and I feel like my tomato plants do very, very well. So, a lot of information packed in one video. I hope that was helpful. I discussed staking them using these green stakes from Home Depot, kitchen twine, leaving a little give so you could go back in and tighten them, single stemming them. I do want to cut this off while I'm thinking of it. Single stemming them and following through that throughout the season, and removing all the lower leaves. Don't let them touch the dirt. You will get blight very, very quickly. Do not water from up above, water from the root. And what else? And removing your suckers that are inside your armpits of your tomato plants. It helps the plant overall. So yeah, I hope that that was helpful for you. As anybody that needs information on tomatoes or wants to know how to do it, or maybe just how I do it. This is just what works for me. Everybody has their own way of doing it, and this is what I do. So again, I hope that was helpful for you. Love you all. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe, do all that fun, good stuff. And I'm going to go back to pruning some tomato plants and getting off the suckers, tying them up before we get rain, which wasn't being called for as of yesterday, but very much needed today. And I will dispose of all my leaves when I am completely done. I usually do not compost them. That's just a rope that I tie these all up with at the end of the season to keep it a little bit neater. But again, I hope you have a blessed day. I hope you found this video helpful. And I will be seeing you, and I will catch you on the next video. God bless everyone. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment down below. I will help you out the best that I can. Sorry for getting a little tongue-tied. These dogs are barking. And I want to get done staking up and pruning my tomatoes, so it's another thing to check off my to-do list. So on that note, have a great, fantastic day, and I will see you on the next video. Like, subscribe, share, turn your notification bell on, and I will see you soon. God bless everyone, and happy gardening.